suspenders waiting for part 2, whenever that happens next week or whatever it might be. Right? Okay, so in the verse of God, that he came to a cave where he spent the night. That's 1 Kings 19, verse 9. And I could read the whole chapter, but I'm not going to take time to read the chapter. I'm going to refer to it. So you can write this down somewhere and go check it out yourself, whatever. But I want to think about how and why the man of God ended up in a cave. Alright? Started thinking about, my wife thinks my office is a man cave, except it's not, I go in there too much. But I don't have a pool table in there, and I don't have a pinball table ever. It's like, I just have a big mess in there. It's like, lots of papers and lots of things that I need to get around to. But the definition of a man cave was, something that's reserved for the male species. All right, women are not allowed in there. It's a place where you get to work, play, or do your hobbies, or all three. It's decorated by a man with a, I'll show you a picture later, pool table, pinball, whatever they got there. We're still big kids. We still like our toys. But it also intrigued me that one of the definitions of a man cave was a retreat or a sanctuary. Retreat from women. Retreat from your wife. Retreat from your kids. A sanctuary. No kids allowed, kind of close the door, that sort of thing. But anyway, we're going to make it more spiritual. It's kind of like a place where maybe we can be alone. Think about the things that are really important. A caveman, on the other hand, is an uncivilized person. All right, but he has hobbies. He likes to paint. Did you get that, sir? He likes to paint. No? Caveman paintings. Yeah. All right. I think I'm a little bit too intelligent for this place. Anyway, and he likes to do stone carvings. All right. And occasional speech. That's of course. So, okay, he's in the cave, and God asked him twice in 1 Kings 19, this question, Elijah, calls him by name. What are you doing here? Now, and maybe you could change your inflections or say that, what are you doing here? I think that's an important question God's asking him, obviously twice. He's trying to get his attention with that question, with those words. And I think maybe we can ask ourselves that. We could ask ourselves in life. We could ask ourselves today, right here in this moment, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Important question. Well, where is he? He's in this cave. This cave is on the mountain of God. It's Mount Sinai. God has told him to go on this journey. So he's kind of at the place where Moses, okay, it's a very spiritual story. Moses up Mount Sinai, that's where he got the stone tablets. Maybe the caveman made them, or, I don't know. Anyway, the bush experience, okay, not the Jeb one, whatever, but it's kind of the burning one. And how and why did he get there? What happened? So I'm going to backtrack in the chapter. Again, it would be more clear if I read it, but I'm just kind of going backwards in the story from the cave to how he got here. Why he started out on this journey. So he traveled 40 days and nights, okay, all on this food that the angel came and gave to him. The angel visited him twice, woke him up out of his sleep and said, get up and eat, okay, and he had a nice piece of bread there and some water. Going to go on a diet. Now that would be good. That bread, whatever was in there, kind of gave enough energy for 40 days and nights to travel. That's kind of like, hey, that sounds like a good diet. I maybe write a book on that. I could make some money on that diet. I think maybe, but Elijah diet, whatever. That's what do you think? But anyway, that's energy for 40 days. Traveled, he traveled 125 miles before that on foot. And left his servant at Beersheba and went on out into the wilderness and ended up in this place where there was a cave where he lay down and rested. When you read in the translations, it's kind of the point that what he's doing is, even after the first 125 miles, he's in Judah, he's on the edge of, the Israel territory, but he's far enough away from Jezebel that, actually one translation says that he's out of her jurisdiction. He's away from Ahab. Ahab wouldn't be able to do anything to him, okay? As he's fleeing Jezebel, all right? Why is he fleeing her? Well, if you go back into the chapter before, he's just killed 450 of her prophets. He kind of just proved that there is only one God. He's the God, supreme God above all. For some reason, Jezebel wasn't there, and Ahab run back, told her the news. Hey, he just killed 450 of your prophets. And so, in 1 Kings 19, verse 2, she says, just think about these words. May the gods strike me and even kill me. Who are these gods? Because they didn't do anything at the altar. They didn't show up and demonstrate their power. And she's still talking to and believing in gods that don't exist. And they can kill me. Oh, how stupid is that? How can nothing kill you? But anyway, she says, if by tomorrow, Elijah, I don't do to you what you did to my prophets. And it says fear took over Elijah. I started thinking about that. Words. It's just words. And of course, she wasn't a nice person, and probably if she did have caught up with him, she probably would. And then first of all, many times I've read that story, I'm thinking, well, he's scared. He's scared of Jezebel. He's scared of Dan. Well, it's not actually true, because when we read the whole story, when he gets to where God encounters him, he says to God, I'm tired. I don't want to die. He's not scared of dying, because he actually asked God to kill him. Words. Words from Jezebel. Words from perceived enemy. And he runs. He runs 125 miles. Angel comes, gives him food, and he gets in the desert another 40 days, 40 nights. He's the guy's just slain 450 prophets, remember, and demonstrated who God is, and that's now running. See, God's revelation in the Word is always like there's no nice little formula to life. You take it as it comes, and you deal with it as it comes. And sometimes you're a dragon slayer, and sometimes you're cowardly. But there's always, the only thing that's consistent is God. Yeah. And He's running. And I think this is really important for, he's getting himself into a situation. What is leading him? It's not God. It's not God leading him. God didn't tell him to run. It's not the voice of God speaking to him. It's the voice of a old bad queen. A good Halloween song. Right there. She would be perfect for that. It's not the voice of God. Her words are so powerful that he ends up in a cave. Her words are powerful because she tells the servant, and the servant repeats her words to Elijah. Words that created fear. Actually, the words are so powerful that in verse 10 of the chapter 19, that Elijah takes those words on board in his own life. And he repeats what the servant has repeated from Jezebel. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to take my life. In verse 14, when he's answering the question the first time, he says, I'm the only one left, and they're trying to kill me. In verse 4, he said, I've had enough. I want to die. Words that originated in Jezebel and went to a servant of God, and who's repeating over and over again, what? And let's kind of make the big jump. But what the devil told him, what the devil tried to speak into his life, or what his enemy tried to speak into his life, he is now speaking. Here's a good illustration of the cave. What's the screen? I'm an idiot! Yeah, you will be able to hear it. Because it's in you. You will hear it. You know? I love that movie, man. In his man cave or whatever. And there's a big monkey in there with a, you know, big boom, boom, boom. You know, that's what happens. You start speaking to yourself. And you start speaking rubbish to yourself. And the cave starts speaking back to you. And, you know, telling you even worse things than what you believe about yourself. Words are powerful. They're powerful. They're so powerful that a man of God who tramped over 450 prophets of Baal is now in a cave, in a dark place, in a dark mood. That is not the place for somebody in a dark mood. I got called one time. Somebody called me. They were concerned about their son, and they wanted me to come visit him because he was depressed and he didn't want to live anymore. Whatever. So I went over to the house and I walked in. And I said, "Hey, wait!" And I knew him from the past. Whatever. And he said, "Hey, well, where is he?" Well, he's downstairs. And I walked downstairs into. I know it was probably a man cave or whatever, right? You know, but it was dark. There was no lights on. All the blinds ring. He's sitting in front of the computer, I guess, here, blowing stuff up, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, "Hello? Is it any wonder why he's depressed?" And then it's not. Open the shades, bring some light into your life, and get away from the computer, whatever. It's that simple. Why is it so hard? You don't run. You don't hide. You don't repeat what the enemy has spoken into your life.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about this. I'm thinking, what about our words? What about what we speak? What about what we repeat? Who or what are you listening to? Maybe right now, at this moment, you feel like you're in a cave. What are you going to do about it? You know, everybody, it seems right now, how many times somebody came to our door, rang the bell, whatever, and got some voting thing there, whatever. Are you voting this year? Are you registered to vote? Would you like the mail vote? You know, so everybody wants me to vote. And I started thinking about that and things that I was reading, whatever, and I started actually thinking to myself, you know what? It's not just on the, whatever it is, 3rd November, 4th of November, right? You know what? I actually vote every day. You know what I'm saying? I vote every day. What are you talking about? So, well, you vote in 2 ways. Just like Elijah, by your position or your posture. You know, you kind of go off into your man cave, you do your whole thing. What are you doing? You're voting for selfishness. That's what you're doing. I vote for me. I vote for isolation. I feel sorry for myself. I'm voting for negativity. I'm voting for seclusion. I'm voting for cutting myself off and being a loner. That's what you're voting for. You vote by your words. Just like Elijah. I'm the only one left. They're trying to kill me. And when you speak like that, you're voting for fear. You're voting for an inflated ego. What do you think this is all about you? Depression, defeat. You're voting by your words. You're voting by your posture. You know what? Just think about it. You know what? It's a good thing. Even when you're here on Sunday, you're voting for church. You're voting for God. You're voting for community. We can vote to change our position, our posture, our words. And the more I thought about the story, just write this down somewhere. Put it in there somewhere. You know what? The words that Jezebel spoke are not even true. There are no other gods. The gods aren't going to kill her because they don't exist. And the words that Elijah is speaking, I've been so faithful. I've been fighting for God, and I'm the only one left, and everybody else is bowed down and followed Baal or whatever. And that's not even true. We're repeating words that are not even true. It's powerful. But we need to change. We need to vote for change. But we need to ask ourselves, how can we change? I'm thinking, there we go. How can we change? Well, you need to change. How are we going to change? Well, you need a new posture, a new position, and you need new words. But also, you need a revelation. That's what Elijah needed. He needed a revelation from God. He needed new words and a new posture. When you start going through the chapter, you find that there are more important words that Elijah's ignored in this incident in his life. In the chapter, an angel shows up twice with hot baked bread and water. Hey, get up and eat. What's he saying? Change your posture. You're sleeping. He's tired. I'm worn out. I'm tired of fighting this battle. I want to die. Hey, get up and eat. That's words. That's changing your posture. Then he came a second time and said, get up, eat some more for your journey. You're going to need the energy. Little sidetrack there, but our diet. There's a little subliminal message there. Our diet actually control our energy levels. Yeah, I know you'd like that one. Okay. But not only is there angel's words, but in chapter 19, verse 9, there's God's words. Twice he says, what are you doing here, Elijah? Why are you here? Verse 11, God says to him, go and stand before me. Change your posture. Get out of the cave. Change your position. Come and stand before me. And so God says there'll be a sound of a gentle whisper. There's one that, like I say, you've been around the church and all, you know the story, the wind and the fire and the earthquake. It's kind of like, it's everything. It's kind of like, what do you call that? IMAX. It's kind of like, big screen. It's kind of like, wow, shaking your boots, whatever I got there. But it's kind of, but what does it say? God was not in the wind. God was not in the fire. And then the scriptures say there was a gentle whisper. The actual word means silence. so quiet. It was deafening. Still, small voice. And the scripture said, when Elijah heard it. It's the sign of silence. Every time a bell rings, we know that an angel gets his wings. Okay, well, I think that's kind of like, I know we did that, but anyway, but thank you. That's part of, that's part of our dilemma. Because we hate silence. We don't know what to do with silence. We're totally uncomfortable even getting in an elevator. We're going to have background music and that stuff like that. You know, something to break up the silence. Because we're people who don't like silence. And I'm suggesting to you that if you don't like silence, when are you ever going to hear from God? It's a crazy story, because the things in there, when I actually took time to chew on it, look at it, I thought, you know, I know the story, but I actually don't know the story, because you go back and you see things in there that you've never seen before. Like in verse 13, like God has already told him, get out, come and stand before me. And all these apparitions are happening, demonstrations of God's ability. He's in control of, creation. God said to him, I'm going to pass by. And only in verse 13, after this all happens, see, God said to him, this is what we do. God said to him, come and stand before me, implying that I'm outside the cave, right? I'm coming, I'm passing by. God's not going to come into your cave, okay? And all these things happen. And then in verse 13 it says, finally, Elijah went and stood at the front of the cave. Now, he's a prophet of God. And he's still not doing what God told him to do. See, it can happen to any of us. And in verse 13 again, God says to him, what are you doing here, Elijah? And this is how you know change is really hard. Because you know what his answer is? After all these demonstrations, you know what his answer is? I've been zealous for God. And I've killed the prophets. And I'm the only one left. And there's everybody else has sold out and they're following Baal. But he's still repeating the message. This is not even true. So he's changed his position, his posture. He's out at the front of the cave, but he's still got the same words playing and repeating in his mind and his heart. His posture is changed. But he will not be changed until he hears new words from God. A still, small voice. Hey, does God still speak in a still small voice? Does God still speak in an audible voice, Toby? Somebody get a white coat for this guy, because God talked to him in his car just the other week. It's like 10:03 in the morning, or so it's like an audible voice. It's like Change your posture. Change your words. This should be the best Sunday of the year. You should be bubbling and alert and ready to go and ready to hear and take notes of it. You got an extra hour in bed. It's my favorite Sunday, that's for sure. God still speaks. God still speaks. Waking that guy up there. Okay, half time. All right. What am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm a whistleblower. I'm a whistleblower. All right, now it's half time. Okay, we're calling it half time. I've been thinking about this. Okay, so I'm thinking about life. You know, I'm thinking about hospice. All right, I'm sorry, but you know, I'm thinking about sport. I'm kind of like, you know, I was a referee at one point whenever, you know, played a lot of soccer, and there's always half time. You know what? The good thing about half time is what? It's time for a break. Okay? Yeah, it might be time for a break, but what if you're losing? What if things aren't going the way that you planned? What if the enemy, or the other team, what if they're winning? What is the point of half time? Regroup. Change the game plan, all right? Re-strategize, retool. Let's have a new game plan. Let's change the game plan and let's go about winning. Okay? Let's finish well. You know, I want to be very realistic. You know what? I'm past half time. You know, I mean, I'm in the fourth quarter. And don't laugh, because some of you are kind of like, you know, the buzzer's coming. All right, you know, I'm saying, really. We need to think about it. You know, what are we doing here? And I think that's exactly what God says to him. That seemed to me, the revelation that God is giving to Elijah. Hey, it's half time, okay? You need to change the game plan. You need to listen to what I'm saying, okay? I'm the only one. No, you're not. This is not about you. He left his servant. And what does God say to him? And read the chapter. I'm telling you, it'll get your attention. God's halftime talk to him is, go get another servant. Well, actually, you know, I'm reading between the lines, but actually what God says to him is, go and anoint. Go and anoint. Hazael, Jehu, Elisha, go and anoint. What's he saying to him? What's this halftime talk about? He's saying, hey, you know what? Stop fighting alone and start multiplying. That's what he's saying to him. Oh, we're actually here to multiply and mature disciples. So, you know, this kind of, oh wow. There's a bit of a connection there. Anoint. Let others rise up, do the work. What's God's halftime talk to Elijah? He's saying, you know what? I got 100 over here. I got 7,000 over here. And I'm going to, you know, actually, Jezebel put the nail in her own coffin. Because she says, may the gods deal with me if I don't. And she didn't kill him by tomorrow. So that's what she's telling God, because only he has one God. She's telling God, you can kill me. And he actually does. He does deal with it. Just rely on you. It's my kingdom, it's my church, and I will build my church, and nothing will stop it. It's not about you. Get out of the cave, man. like it? Get out of the cave, man. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's gold.
Right, that's gonna, come on, man. Get out of the cave. I am passing by. You know, this is profound. I am passing by, but don't let him pass you by.
That's right.
Listen to the still small voice. It's deafening when you hear it. It gets your attention. And I think God was saying to Elijah, that's what you need. That's what you've been missing. This has become all about you. It's all about me.
That's right.
Start anointing. Go find Hazel. Jehu. Do you hear me? It's that loud. It's screaming. Now, it's just a story. There's no application, right? Well, I'm thinking about, you know, I'm thinking about my peers, you know. All right. Those of you who don't feel as old as you feel, does that make sense? No, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, so. Those of you who don't feel as old as you are, something like that, anyway, you know. Boomers. There's a few boomers here, right? I'm really, you know, I'm dead serious with it. It's half time. There's a team talk, and the coach is not screaming and yelling. He's speaking in a still, small voice, but he's speaking. And you know what? I think some of us, you know, in our culture, the whole seeker-sensitive culture idea, whatever, you know, kind of been there, done that, whatever. But some of us older sorts. All right, let me change that. There's some of us not so young sorts. Okay, let's be positive. I think some of us here are still convinced that we need one more mountaintop experience. One more big trip, one more big conference. We need our own space. We need our man cave, you know, kind of, we need to live like a cave dweller. That's kind of, you know, so I'm being politically correct. That's male and female right there. Can you hear him? Can you hear him this morning? Get out of your cave.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? See, I think in America, we kind of like, you know, what's the next fad? What's the next thing to chase? You know, because we've chased the wind, we've chased the fire, we've chased the barking, we've chased the laughing. And all the time is what we need is still small voice. It's so loud, they can't feel it, hear it.
We need to listen. We need to listen and change. There's no point in listening if we don't change and take on board. And we need to change our position. And we need to change what we're doing and what we've always done and how we've always done it. We need to change our posture and our position. And we need to change our words. We need to speak words of life. Words of His promise. Words of His faithfulness. Words about what He's doing, and get out of the darkness and the dark place and get away from defeat and the comforts of life and listen to the still small voice. Change our strategy. How do you do that? Well, you listen to God for a change and not the other voices. And you stop repeating what is not true. Stop doing things alone. You know, my crew, stop doing things alone. That's what God said. Stop doing nothing alone. That doesn't make sense, does it? Okay. Right? Stop doing nothing alone. That means get somebody else to come with you and do nothing. Ha! No, I didn't mean that. Okay? You know, stop doing nothing. Start anointing. Anoint, anoint, anoint. Sounds like a pig. Bring him on. Bring him on. It's half time. Time to anoint. Time to empower. Time to commission. And here's the thing that really blew me away with the idea of Elijah. God has done this. What a revelation that God has given Elijah. And He gives him specific commands. And go read the story. Go read the chapter. Because you know what Elijah does? He goes back. He finds Elisha. And basically, this is probably, he's got a cloak. So he kind of, he finds Elisha. So I'll pick on my oldest here, but he throws the mantle on Elisha and says, well, whenever you're ready. And Elisha says, well, this is part 2, so I'm not going to get into part 2. Okay, relax. Okay. Winding up. Okay. He doesn't anoint Elisha. And he doesn't go after Hazael or Jehu. Somebody else has to anoint him. This is the man of God. This is the great prophet that gets taken up into heaven in a chariot. And he doesn't do what God tells him to do. But I think the lesson in there is that it doesn't stop God doing what God is intending to do. And all it just tells us and reminds us is, you know what? Change is hard. Change is slow. But it's a new game plan. So, I'm past my time. Don't miss part 2. I'm kind of pumped up about that. So, where are we at? Well, we have an exciting mission happening in Philadelphia. I'll tell you what, that's happening. We're getting ready for the holidays right here in Island. Christmas. It's the most wonderful time. Don't forget, it's of the year, right? It's, you know what, as a church, we had 8 interns this summer. All right? I think most of them are here. Where's the interns? You stand up. All right, there's one at the back right there. There's 2 at the back right there. 3, 4, 5, 6. And who's the other one? Jonathan is in Moody Bible Institute. And he just won his conference. He's going to Florida for state finals in soccer. I cannot believe, the guy must have had a transformation when he was in the UK. Whatever, I don't know. He's scoring goals, doing assists, whatever. And who was the other one? I don't know, but we had 8. We had 8 interns. And this is part of, you kind of like, it's kind of like a sport that's happening. And you know, so, and just to add to them, you know, because, you know, you could add Matthew in there, you could add Josh in there. Where's Kelly's? I don't, you know, Kelly's over here. Alex, that guy with glasses right there. You know, the kind of like, you know, Victor. Natalie, okay, that Natalie back there, she's probably upstairs, the kids over. We got upstairs right now, the kids, we got Marianne and Janelle. Eric has been there, Lawrence playing on here, we got Sarah up there, and they're coming up, they're rising up, okay? It's kind of like, it's happening right before our eyes. And you know what? It's not magic. We got signs up there because there's people like Isaac and Kenny, whatever. They put those signs up every week, whatever. Except they keep forgetting the one above the you know, the information booth. Because somebody take care of that for next week. Okay, all right. But you know, so you know, it's kind of happening. It's rising up. Okay, and there's 8 or 9. Where's Brian? We got on Wednesday. There's 8 or 9 people. A lot of them are interns, whatever. But there's a few old people like me. Whatever. We're going to Texas on Wednesday. Okay, for the Right Now Media Conference, and we're going to learn and equip and anoint and even more. You know, who's going to Texas? Okay, who's oh, look there. Oh, there's a few old people right there. Okay, Alan. Okay, and this guy, and the 2 back there. Brian's going, another old person. Okay, and we're you know see we're. This is where we're at as a church. We're kind of investing in the kingdom. We're anointing. We're kind of, hey, you're excited. Okay, we want to equip you. We kind of, that's what we're doing. And you know, and some of them contribute, but some of it is kind of as a church. We're writing, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Well, you know, when you give, and there's a box out there you can give all the time. You can give them Venmo, whatever. But that's being used to use, you know, to build up the interns, to send people to equip them. Because why? Because God has called us to anoint. Yeah, we're all excited about that. We're investing and anointing in the kingdom. Hey, there it is right there. I had it at a place. I was wondering why I think we're going to have a Star Wars theme for Christmas here. You know, so I'm probably going to get into my Jedi gear, whatever, you know, lightsaber stuff. Yeah, we're going to have some fun with it. Anyway, those things don't mean anything if we're not anointed. We don't do them to say God asked, you know, anoint them, whatever, but I want to reach out. I have something I want other people to have and experience. In the last days, I will pour out my spirit upon all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Hey, your young men will see visions. And in those days, I will pour out my spirit, even on servants, men and women alike. Yeah. Why did God say to Elijah, anoint? It's the heart of God to anoint. Okay? I'm going to ask Matthew to come and pray for you guys that are, the band can come and get ready too.
Actually, you guys can stay. The band can stay there. Yeah. Thanks for that word.
Just because I give you my jacket doesn't mean you take over.
Isn't that good? Isn't that awesome? Did you feel it shift halfway through with this whistle thing here? Fourth quarter, running faster than you ever did. That's just what I appreciate about you. Thank you for bringing a word like that and changing things for us. You know, sometimes I feel like we all need convincing, and doing what he does every week, and he did for many years, getting up and trying to communicate his passion for Christ can be hard when you're looking at people who aren't as enthusiastic as you. It's like trying to get your kids to follow your instruction and they just keep doing their own thing. You have to keep telling them over and over again. I'm not calling anyone a kid. I'm still a kid. But the point is to do what he does when he gets up here and to bring us to a new place with Jesus is incredibly difficult, and we appreciate that. You know, I think sometimes even the sound equipment needs convincing, like this morning, you know. But the thing I love about, the thing that I'm realizing, right, with God, is that he's not a persuasive God. He's not going to tickle your eardrum and try to get you to come and follow him. He's not going to incentivize you any more than what he already did with his son Jesus. He's not a persuasive God, but in my opinion, he's a convincing God, because he's already given everything that he could for you. And that's what he was telling his people. He's saying it's not about, hey, this is what I can do for you. It's about what my plans, and that you have an opportunity to come and be on my team. You have an opportunity to ascribe yourself to what I'm doing with Grace Church. And so I want you guys to stand. We're not going to